Since cloud data centers throughout the world are now software defined, it seems sense that telecoms need to follow suit. Thus, in addition to AI on computers, we can now present the concept of AI on 5G or AI on 6G. All supercomputers will eventually have quantum accelerators. All of them will be connected to quantum QPUs, in my opinion. An example of a modern computer would be a supercomputer, which would be a QPU with QPUs, GPUs, and a few CPUs. Because when you think you're creating a lot of tokens, if you will, or thoughts, and you're iterating in your mind until you come up with a solution, the one-shot AI of the past will give way to thinking, reasoning, and inference time scaling AI, which will require a lot more computing power. AI robots that NVIDIA just presented have the potential to completely transform the way we think about work. The underlying topic is how these robots might massively displace human occupations, even if the headlines focus on new processors and servers. What does this portend for the future of work? And are we prepared for the impending robotic takeover? Telecommunications is, of course, one of the most significant sectors. Since cloud data centers throughout the world are now software defined, it seems sense that telecoms need to follow suit. In order to achieve remarkable performance for data rate per megawatt or data rate per watt, we have spent the last 6 years refining and optimizing a completely accelerated radio access network, RAN, stack. We are now comparable to the most advanced ASICs, therefore we can add AI on top of it once we're able to get that level of performance and functionality. Thus, we have excellent partners in this place. SoftBank, T-Mobile, Indosat, and Vodafone are conducting testing, as you can see. We are collaborating with Samsung, Kyocera, and Nokia on the entire stack. The systems are being worked on by Cisco and Fujitsu. Thus, in addition to AI on computers, we can now present the concept of AI on 5G or AI on 6G. We're using quantum computing to achieve it. The noisy intermediate scale quantum, or NISQ, is still where quantum computing is at, but there are a ton of excellent applications that we could begin working on right now, and we're thrilled about that. A quantum classical or quantum GPU computing platform is the class we are developing. We collaborate with incredible businesses worldwide under the name CUDA-Q. GPUs might be utilized for control, error correction, and pre- and post-processing. Therefore, I believe that all supercomputers will eventually have quantum accelerators. All of them will be connected to quantum QPUs. An example of a modern computer would be a supercomputer, which would be a QPU with QPUs, GPUs, and a few CPUs. Over the past few years, we have been developing a new computer that will enable us to perform inference timescaling, which is essentially really rapid thinking, because when you think, you're creating a lot of tokens, if you will, or thoughts, and you're iterating in your mind until you come up with a solution. The one-shot AI of the past will give way to thinking, reasoning, and inference timescaling AI, which will require a lot more computing power. With robots at the forefront, NVIDIA's Computex keynote serves as a wake-up call about how AI is subtly changing the fundamental fabric of industry. Jensen Huang is hinting at something far more significant than 5G or faster internet when he speaks about totally software-defined telecoms. In order to make the networks that link us all quicker, more flexible, and more predictive, intelligence must be injected into them. This lays the foundation for AI systems that can manage complicated situations without human assistance and function independently in real time. Consider this. AI algorithms that are always learning and improving will soon be used to coordinate the same networks that transport our calls and data. It's a huge step toward robots operating autonomously and, consequently, beginning to manage entire processes that currently require human supervision. In this presentation, quantum computing also appears subtly but crucially. Although it's early, NVIDIA's hybrid strategy makes it obvious that future AI won't be constrained by the limitations of traditional computing. A preview of the massive processing capacity that robots and AI agents will require is provided by the combination of quantum and GPU computing. Consequently, we developed a brand new system named Grace Blackwell. Grace Blackwell is a multifaceted individual. It is capable of scaling up. Scale up refers to the process of making a computer into an enormous computer. Scale out refers to the process of connecting many computers so that the task may be completed on a variety of machines. It's simple to scale out. Scaling up is really challenging. it is extremely difficult to build bigger computers, which are outside the realm of semiconductor physics, and Grace Blackwell does just that. Everything was broken by Grace Blackwell, and many of you in the audience are working with us to develop systems for Grace Blackwell. I'm thrilled to announce that we've reached full production. However, we can also say it was really difficult. We are only now bringing all of the fantastic Grace Blackwell systems online, even though the HGX-based Blackwell systems have been in full production since the end of last year and have been accessible since every day. They are appearing online everywhere. It has been accessible in CoreWeave for a few weeks. Numerous CSPs are already using it, and it's now beginning to appear everywhere. As I predicted, everyone begins tweeting that Grace Blackwell will be in full production in the third quarter of this year. We will improve our platform's performance annually, every year, in keeping with the beat. Additionally, we plan to update to the Grace Blackwell GB300 in Q3 of this year. The GB300 will have the same design, physical dimensions, and electrical and mechanical components, but the chips within have been improved. A new Blackwell chip has been added to it. Additionally, it features 2 times more networking, 1.5 times more HBM memory, and 1.5 times greater inference speed. As a result, the system performs better overall. All that was done in order to construct an extremely huge chip. And we were able to develop these amazing systems because 2 NVLink and Blackwell, this generation, this one is from Wistron andYwin, as well as Pegatron and QCT. You could view both the front and the rear of this device, which is from Foxconn, Gigabyte, and Asus, and its whole purpose is to take these Blackwell chips, which are as large as you can see, and combine them into one enormous. It goes without saying that NVLink enabled such capability. However, the intricacy of the system architecture, the diverse software ecosystem that ties everything together, is underestimated. This architecture, together with the complete ecosystem in technology, software, and industry, was the result of 150 firms working together over the course of 3 years. This industrial investment is enormous. At this point, we aim to enable anyone who desires to construct data centers. It may be an accelerated computing system for NVIDIA at a number of NVIDIA GB200S or 300S. Now, few people outside the sector truly understand the advance in AI supercomputing represented by the Grace Blackwell system. Connecting many machines to scale out is far easier than scaling up a computer. The engineering and physics challenges here are enormous. However, NVIDIA has developed a method for creating massive, cohesive computing engines that are strong enough to enable AI that is able to do more than merely react. Everything is changed by this thinking AI idea. These systems mimic the process of internal deliberation, generating, testing, and refining ideas before giving an answer. In contrast to typical AI models that spew out conclusions based on predefined inputs, robots that can adjust on the go, solve unforeseen problems, and learn from their surroundings without continual human recalibration will be supported by that capacity. Blackwell, Grace, when these capabilities are put into full production, they are no longer just theoretical. They are being used to power robotic systems and AI agents all around the world. Even quicker inference and more memory are promised by the next GB300 update, which is essential for managing the massive amount of data and computation AI robots will need to operate dependably in real-world environments. It may be someone else. Therefore, we have a very unique announcement to make today. We are pleased to present NVIDIA NVLink Fusion. Because those were the good old days, NVLink Fusion allows you to design semi-token AI infrastructure rather than simply semi-token processors. You wish to construct AI infrastructure. Some of you might have a lot more CPUs, some might have a lot more NVIDIA GPUs, and some might be semi-topped up i6 that belong to someone. Additionally, those systems are extremely difficult to construct, and they're all lacking one amazing component, which is NVLink LE, a switch that sits just next to your processor. You will be able to include IP into your semi-top ASIC